How do entrepreneurs who are worth more than 100 million euros look differently at business than you and I do? I just came from a 4-day retreat here in Canada, Kelowna, Canada, 4-day business retreat with the most inspiring entrepreneurs, including Dan Martell, who spoke about leadership, who spoke about building your team. And in this video, I want to give you the 3 takeaways that I had of this, I could almost say, life-changing event. I want to help you by sharing these insights. So at the end of this video, you can exactly know what I got in terms of value and start applying this in your business and how you show up towards your team, your clients, and how you can scale. The first takeaway that I had from this event, where I literally flew all across the world from, because I came from Singapore and I traveled for almost 30 hours to get here to Canada. But the first takeaway that I had from this event is that it's often not about the strategies, or not predominantly about the marketing tactics or the strategies. It's so much about mindset, and this was like a consistent story, consistent element in every speaker's story. It's all about mindset, and we started off the event with a speaker who spoke about the limiting beliefs that you tell yourself, the stories, the conditions that you hold on to as an entrepreneur that are withholding you from moving forward. And this can be one of two things, right? Either something has happened to you as a kid, as a person, whatever has happened, and that trauma, that effect, the conditioning. Maybe you were young and your parents told you something about how money is evil, or maybe you grew up in poverty, or whatever it is. Can also be smaller things, like something in your past, in your subconscious mind. And if you haven't watched it, Joe Dispenza is amazing on this. Something has happened which has now been part of your software program, and you keep holding on to these beliefs, and this is how you are self-sabotaging. Because how can you actually become rich, how can you actually build your business, if you hold on to the belief that money is evil, which I think is the easiest example, or maybe that you're not worth to become rich, or that you don't really need it, right? So the limiting beliefs that you tell yourself based on past events. The other option is that if you project towards the future, right? Like, what does the best version of yourself look like? How much money is this person making? It could be 100K per month, 500K, a million per month, right? What beliefs, what thoughts come up when you think about that? And that was an insight for me as well. Like, if I think about the next version of myself earning 100K per month, like, what thoughts come up, like what feelings come up, because these feelings are subconsciously what you are projecting into the reality of the world that you live in, right? Like, everything that you see is just a reflection, the manifestation of what goes on in your mind. Your mind is so much more powerful, right? And this is where all the big thinkers and authors go into the Think and Grow Rich, Joe Dispenza, like all of them go into this particular element. And I think that's why it's so important, because if you run your own business, that if you are an entrepreneur, then you know that the entrepreneurship is the biggest journey of self-development you can be on. And just having this realization that mindset is everything, and understanding yourself and understanding your current version, and getting very, very clear on the self that you want to be, and everything that's standing in between there, which is often yourself. You do need to have the right strategies, and I'll get to that later. But the thoughts that you're telling yourself, what is standing in the way, is super important, because otherwise you will not get there. And just yesterday, there was a speaker who was doing, I think, 1 million per month, who was telling the same stories, that by doing the inner work and getting to know himself better, resolving these things, taking action, pushing through the fear of being broke, for instance. He even came up with the example, like, if you really fear being broke, burn a bunch of money, right? Or buy a car that you cannot afford, just to get over the fact and over the fear that you will become broke and starve to death, because this is an inherent fear that we all have biologically, right? And he did 1 million per month, so guy knows what he's talking about. So yeah, often the things that keep us from moving forward is fear. The second thing that I learned at the event, it's not just about the mindset, right? It's a lot has to do with the network, with the rooms that you are in, and the people that you surround yourself with. And this is why this event was life changing for me. I've invested a bunch of money already in mentors, well over, I think, 30, 40,000 euros. But I never attended such a live business event, and just being in the room with people. If I thought I was doing good with business, but I thought being surrounded with people in the room who do way more, way better than I am, the way they articulate, the way they talk, the way they run their business was just incredible. Not just for the money amount of money that they're making, but the skill set that everyone was bringing to the table was incredibly profound, and just how supportive everyone is. And in the industry that we are in, we're in the coaching industry, the education industry. So everyone is driven to help someone. Everyone in the room is actually making an impact in someone's life. And um, we're not in the crypto space or the drop shipping space, right? Where it's purely transactional, purely about money, but we're actually making an impact. And being in the room, like, and I will keep investing in mentors till I die, because it's the single quickest way to actually get to your success, right? There's only two currencies that you can pay with, which is either your time or your money. And one of those two, like, you will never ever get back. And being in the room with people, having mentors, having people that can support you, can guide you, who've done the work, who walked the path that you are currently still on, paying those people to give you the support, getting into those rooms, getting into the network, getting into the minds of these entrepreneurs is incredibly valuable. And I've invested a bunch, and I will keep investing more and more and more into my own personal development, as well as business and marketing strategies. And this is, again, just a reminder. It wasn't a new lesson, but just a reminder that this is so incredibly important. So also, question to you, like, how much, if you look back, right, like, how much have you invested, how much have you actually invested money wise, time wise, into like these business mentorships, getting into the right rooms with people, business events, because that really shows how much you're really all in. And I maybe had the realization I wasn't as all in as I thought I would was. So yeah, big takeaway, big next step for myself is to just keep attending these events and do way more of them, because yeah, the amount of insights, connections have just been invaluable. And the last takeaway is, like, how do you run your business as a leader? And this is the takeaway that I had from Dan Martell. And the biggest takeaway from him that I had, who is worth well over 100 million euros, is the way leadership works. And the consistent message also in all the guys who are doing the big numbers in the room is, like, you cannot build this business yourself, right? You need to build leverage, a team. And obviously, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm big on leverage, right? Ads for leverage, appointment setters, creating a good team of appointment setters, or basically just one, to create that leverage so they can do the activities that you don't need to be doing. Who can do it even maybe better than you can. And Dan Martell just showed a very beautiful way of scaling that, of which roles to hire and how to actually, as he calls it, buy back your time by listing out the activities that you're doing that you can actually outsource, which has been a great inspiration for me to just hire and keep expanding my team as well. And actually, um, quite shortly, we'll be hiring a new role again for my team to really step up my content game. So hiring, scaling your business consistently to get yourself into your zone of genius, right? So the question is, like, what are you really good at? What do you really enjoy doing? instead of the pitfall that so many entrepreneurs fall into of like doing everything yourself and having to like be a jack of all trades. Scaling your business, hiring the right roles, buying back your time, and the leadership. How do you actually communicate and build a team that can work independently and can work by themselves and think for themselves and make good decisions. And it was just an incredible example. I met this guy right before the event, just talking to him, big dude. I think he was like 24, 25. He couldn't be much older than that. I thought he was part of like the the high school group, which was at the event right before us. Um, Turns out he's like the lead guy of Dan Martell's content team. Sam, I don't know his last name, but he runs the whole content team of Dan Martell, and they're doing. I think last month they said they had like 180 million impressions or 180 people reached. They do 180 million people reach. I think they do like 170 content pieces a day, which is just incredible. And this guy had so much knowledge for a 25-year-old. And I don't know exactly what he makes, but somewhere I think between like 500,000 and maybe 1 million. It's just per year. It's insane. So much knowledge, but so um, I guess well trained by the leadership of Dan, and how to empower your team and how to put them in their zone of genius and have them not be afraid of making mistakes. And a great takeaway I had of that was the 1-3-1 rule, to help your teams to become more independent and make them make their own decisions. So what's the 1-3-1 rule? It's basically, one, what is the specific problem that we're trying to solve, to get very clear, to get your team members very clear on the specific problem that they're trying to solve. 3, what are 3 viable solutions for this, right? So these are the questions that you're asking to your team to think about. What are the 3 viable solutions to help solve this problem? And then the one recommendation that your team member can give you of how to solve this problem. So instead of dumping everything on your plate, or you being the micromanager and coming up with all of the solutions and trying to like put out the fires everywhere, you're training the team to actually be independent and have them work independently for themselves. Another beautiful quote I heard was 80% done by someone else is 100% fucking awesome, which I love as well, because often we want other people to do it 100% or maybe better than we can. But if you can actually outsource the things that you don't like and people can do it for you, and it's actually done for you, I mean, then you're creating the leverage, right? So it is indeed 100% fucking awesome if someone else can do that for you. This way you build the team, you build the leverage, you hire the right roles, so you don't spend your time anymore on $5 activities. In my clients' cases, right? Being in the DMs or posting every single day and hoping to get traffic. No, this is solved by paying a bit of money for ads. So you have this consistent lead flow. Quickest way, absolute quickest way to scale. All of the guys doing the massive numbers, all running ads, right? So that's clear as day. And right, having an appointment setter, having an editor, having a closer, all of these roles to build your business so you can really work on the things that you enjoy doing, maybe supporting your clients or traveling the world while making the money while your closer is doing the work, right? So building leverage and clear leadership was the other takeaway that I had from a guy who does more than 100 or is worth more than 100 million euros. So all in all, an amazing, inspiring event, which I will keep planning, keep attending, keep surrounding myself with these types of people. Guys, if you haven't done yet so, make sure to subscribe to this channel to not miss out on any of my next videos, where I will share you a bunch more value and dive deep into marketing, sales, content, client delivery, and scaling your coaching business. So make sure to subscribe the button, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.